So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Or is it good afternoon? It's good morning. So, talking about urban cityscape perspective, I'm someone who was born and brought up in the small town of Kolhapur, Maharashtra, and grew up to flourish in my profession in Kolkata, the first metro rail city of India. Very progressive. I hope, Kunal, you're listening.
Yes.
The first metro rail city that took 23 years in the making and caused a pain to the citizens of Kolkata. Regressive. Thank you. Now, why are we here? Are we here to showcase our oratory skills? Maybe. Are we here to decide on what team or see what team wins? Maybe. Competition is always good. But let me set the context for today's debate and make this a little bit more worthwhile. And I would like to do this with a small case study, a real-life case study, a very good example. So Scandinavian Airlines was going through a lot of losses, and they were desperate to turn the tables around. They wanted to reduce their losses, to reduce their expenses, and to make some more profits. And they announced in their organization to their employees that anybody who comes with a great idea or a suggestion to do this will be rewarded. Now, while this campaign was going on, there was this marketing guy, and he had never flown in an aircraft. He had never boarded an aircraft. And he said to himself that if I can somehow convince my seniors that I would take a flight and I can cook up something, a suggestion, then I can, fly at no expense of mine and, just come back and enjoy the flight. Now, he went to his boss and he told his boss that maybe I can give a worthwhile suggestion, but you will have to let me fly a flight. So the boss said, they were desperate to turn things around, and they did not want any stone to be left unturned. And so they said, okay, we'll let you fly. Now this guy boarded the flight, and he was very observant. He was looking around, and frankly, he felt that the airline was doing pretty well for itself. They were optimizing all services and, really doing good in their facilities, etc. Now, as the flight went on, he started getting nervous, and he was desperate to look for something because now he started stressing out that probably his job will get lost. So they served the meal, and the meal was like a rice bowl, and it had 7 olives on it. Now, while he was, having the meal, and the food tasted splendidly, and the flight landed, and he was now, really desperate to look for something. So he went to his boss, and he said that, honestly, I think the airline is doing great, but I may just have one suggestion which may be worthwhile. So the boss said, what is it? So the meals that are served in the flight have these 7 olives, and I think you should just let go of the olives. So the boss said, are you really serious? Yes, they're so expensive, and what's the need really? It's all about garnishing. Can be done with something green, maybe coriander or basil or something like that. So the boss went into the details and actually figured that the olives were the most expensive ingredient in the food. Now imagine 7 olives with the number of passengers, with the number of daily flights, and they're a big airline, the SAS airline, into the number of monthly flights, the cost came down to a substantial amount. It actually became the path-breaking, game-changing idea to reduce their losses to make a little bit more profit. Why are we talking about this? Path-breaking ideas are always found at the end user level. They are never found at the top. We as a design fraternity, and none of us are urban planners, are also the end users. In today's debate, I want us all to look for that black olives. Let us make this debate, discussion a little bit more worthwhile and have that intrigued eye to look for the black olives in our scenario of the urban cityscape development. And with that, I would like to call upon our captains, the two teams, Kunal Khandelwal of the Progressive team, Team A, Urban Cityscape Development Progressive, and Khushboo Khandelwal of Team B, the Regressive, both from Studio Design INC. And I would like to take the opportunity to introduce both of them. So Studio Design INC were co-founded by Khushboo and Kunal Khandelwal in Mumbai. Studio Design INC, co-founded by Khushboo and Kunal Khandelwal in Mumbai, prioritizes a people-centric approach in their multidisciplinary design practice. Their belief in the transformative power of good design drives them to enhance clients' lives and identifies in every project. Kunal, a sociable and spirited individual, spearheads client interaction, project conceptualization and execution and business development for the studio. Meanwhile, Khushboo, the quiet yet creative force at the studio, is involved in project conceptualizing, planning and design development across all teams. I wish all the teams and their captains a very, very good luck. And to the audience, please be very observant and look for the black olives, because at the end of the debate, we do have a voting and we would look and decide the winner. Thank you. Over to Kunal and Khushboo.
Hi, so I'm Kunal. We represent Team Progressive, as you can see here. I'm just going to quickly introduce you to my team members. In addition to me, we have 9 other fantastic designers as a part of our team, and of course, another 10 on the other side. So we have Noorein Kapoor, principal designer to her eponymous design studio, Noorein Kapoor Design. Her deep passion, understanding of her clients' needs, and meticulous attention to detail shines through in her commitment to a project, while drawing inspiration from latest global techniques, photography, art, and travel. She and her passionate team work tirelessly together to create a niche in the industry through a studio that believes detail defines the depth of design. Next in line, we have Mansi Pandey, creative force at the design house company. Mansi, the principal designer and connoisseur of understated elegance. An avid traveler, Mansi finds her inspiration in the diverse design philosophies encountered during her journeys, enriching her approach to creating spaces. Next, we have Komal Vasa. She's the founder of Jisam Design, an interior design firm which focuses on neurodesign, where form follows feeling. Shruti Dimri is a principal at Anagram Architects, New Delhi. Her work ranges from institutional and public buildings to single and multi-family residential projects. Alongside her architectural practice, she also pursued her lifelong passion for music and is a trained Hindustani classical singer. Priyank Mehta. Priyank, the principal architect at Studio PM Mumbai. He's all about less is more, though I've been saying quite a bit more than that. But adds a pinch of fun to the mix. When not transforming spaces, he's immersed at the Balwant Seth School of Architecture, where he teaches design. Shilpa Balvally, a founding partner at Studio Osmosis, along with Samir. They'll introduce them again. Having lived in a few cities and enjoyed traveling to several of them with varied landscapes and character, she truly believes places are multifaceted, socio-cultural, human-like influences, always connecting to one's memories, emotions, direct happiness, and well-being. Given a choice, she'd probably be at the beach or on a mountain somewhere. Sonal Mutha, she's the principal designer at Studio Ipsa in Bangalore. Her professional journey has been diverse, transitioning from industrial engineering to business analysis before discovering her true passion for interior design. Beyond her work, she's currently enjoying the newfound joys of motherhood. Congratulations. Shruti Jalan, partner at NS Plus A Architecture and Interiors. When not at work, you'll find her swinging a club at the fairway. Sorry, Shruti. Prashant Chauhan, a dynamic and meticulous designer, extends his architectural qualifications to explore diverse design disciplines through his practice 09. Recognized with national and international awards, he excels in architecture, advertising, interior, and exhibition design, embodying his mantra, celebrate life. He shares insights driven by minimal and clutter-free design, influenced by spirituality. That's my team, guys. Let's hear a round of applause for everybody.
Thank you, Pooja. I think we're all really going to be looking for the black olives in this. I'm going to introduce my team, that is the regressive team, if that's what the right word is. First, we have Anam Taufiq, an interior designer with an experience of 7 years and the principal designer of our own firm, Anam Taufiq Studio, since the past 3. Next, we have Shruti Balvally, a partner in Studio Osmosis, who strongly believes that debates should be anything but serious, and given a choice would be riding on his hulk to all the towns and be a flag bearer to sensible development. Go Samir, we are hoping for some fun here. Third, we have Kumpal Vaid, the founder at Purple Backyard Interior Design Studio. The studio crafts immersive and functional environments. The fourth, we have Anu Chauhan from the firm 09, who leads the interiors and the architecture divisions. She's always bringing a lot of positive energy, excellence, and strong people skills. The fifth one we have is Sanchit Arora. He's a principal architect at Renaissance Architects who loves to fumble between the old and the new architecture to create new design amalgams. Next, we have Aniketh Bafna, the founder of Studio Ipsa, Bangalore. He's by far the most serious and a diligent person on our team. He almost scared everybody with his in-depth knowledge and thesis. He was practically going to be writing the entire debate for us. Next, we have Rajiv Khushlani, the design principal at Khushlani Associates, aka Studio Carb. He loves balance, both in design and life, juggling between a son, husband, father, and of course an architect. And we're most of the time hoping that he actually shows up. Eighth, we have Nishita Kamdar, the co-founder at The Concrete Story, who thinks, or rather likes to con people in letting her design their homes. And ninth, we have Studio Nishita Kamdar, who is an award-winning multidisciplinary design practice which draws inspiration from everyday objects and experiences to enhance their design process. Go, Team Regressive.
Oh yeah? So, she already questioned, is there a word like regressive? I mean, so I'm just setting it out there for the progressive side, okay, guys? So should we get started, Pooja? Do we have permission? Yes, thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to begin very briefly. I'm introducing the topic at large, and then hopefully my team members will come with their specific points and explain the reasons why we feel that urban cityscape development is a progressive attitude or a progressive method, and just setting it out, a broad guideline of how we are hoping this flows over the next 40 minutes or so. So today we are exploring whether urban development truly signifies progress. As an architect and designer, I'm actively engaged in witnessing the evolution of cities and envisioning their future. Progressive design involves shaping new and modern spaces, creating housing, infrastructure, public facilities, healthcare for upcoming communities, while catering to the current needs. We as designers play a crucial role in shaping these spaces, influencing people's daily urban experiences. Exactly like what Pooja mentioned, so the daily user is the one who's going to actually make the difference. In examining this proposition, we will traverse the globe, drawing inspiration from iconic urban projects such as the High Line at the heart of New York City and the forward-thinking North-South Corridor in the vibrant city-state of Singapore. Yet, our journey will not culminate in the tales of these distant metropolises. Instead, we will seamlessly weave these global narratives into the fabric of India and India's urban cityscape developments. Considering the impressive regeneration of London's King Cross, where former industrial wasteland has been turned and reimagined into a thriving cultural and commercial hub, this ambitious project marries historical preservation with contemporary design, providing a case study for cities globally on the harmonious integration of the past and the present. Further east, Tokyo's Roppongi Hills stand as a testament to vertical urban planning, a city within a city that seamlessly blends commercial, residential, and cultural spaces. The fluidity of its design encourages communal interaction, setting an example for cities aspiring to create cohesive, multifunctional districts. Turning our attention back to Mumbai, the Bandra Kurla complex showcases the city's ambition for a modern business district while preserving green spaces and promoting sustainable architecture. It stands as an embodiment of Mumbai's evolving identity, mirroring the dynamic nature of urban cityscape development worldwide. From the repurposed industrial spaces in Brooklyn's Dumbo district to the eco-friendly initiatives of Copenhagen's Nordhavn, the world offers a rich tapestry of urban development stories. These narratives provide a wealth of ideas for interior designers seeking to create environments that not only reflect the spirit of their cities, but also contribute to the holistic well-being of their inhabitants. Let's not see these global benchmarks as distant goals, but as inspiration for India's transformation, linking the cityscape with our personal spaces. In conclusion, urban development is not merely progressive, but also a canvas where designers express a city's soul. Thanks.
Thank you, Kunal, on that. So my take on this entire, introduction of the topic is going to be a little more philosophical. So can progress actually be regressive? Can development actually be taking us back many years? Can the growth of one sector of society hinder the advancement of another? Does the evolution of a new era mean an erasing of our past and culture? And are we getting off worse in our lives while actually trying to move forward? I think there were a whole lot of these questions which, while they really sound rhetorical in nature, are really a truth which we are facing today and a reflection of the realities of today's existence. So how many of us have actually found ourselves talking about a restaurant or a nightclub which is the go-to spot, or a fancy new tower which could be like the fanciest place to buy a new home, or a new resort which claims to be one in with nature and soul, or even just a new store as a fantastic shopping experience? I think most of us practically each day. But then how many of us have actually been able to appreciate a nice street to walk on, or a seafront just to sit at, a beautiful park to have a picnic at, or simply well-maintained roads to go on to? Or lastly but not the least, simply feel good about breathing in clean air. As architects and designers shaping spaces within the fabric of the current urban landscape, we really grapple with these questions. Most often than not, without any answers. The fundamental question being whether, as the end designers of spaces which are given to us to design, whether our designs are actually contributing to the growth of the larger society in general, or are we, like most of our design fraternity, just designing in isolation? I think for most of us, and I speak for most of us here, designing at the micro level keeps us more connected to these realities and issues that arise in the course of our daily lives. Having said that, I know most of us do hope that our design efforts can actually change the immediate environment around us and have effects that could spread to a larger context. But like most of my friends sitting here, we know and accept that very often a lot of this is in vain. How many of us have heard the infamous quote, "It's not the destination, but the journey that matters"? This leads me to think that what one truly needs is not really the complexity of life, but the simplicity of living. It's not the built spaces, but the spaces in between that really matter. It's not the material possessions, but the experiences that count. And finally, it's not the tangibles, but the intangibles that make us and our lives who we are. With that trail of thought, I open the discussion from our speakers. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Noorein Kapoor. I'm here to talk about management of natural resources in city development. In India, a country whose geographical diversity is so extensive, every state has adopted different ways of urban development around natural resources. Mountainous regions use cable cars as a modern development, which has eased transportation by a great extent for locals and tourists. Bombay, as a city, is a hub for job opportunities. People from neighboring cities like Alibag can travel to Bombay by the Roro or the ferries as they are convenient means of transportation. A city like Chandigarh has been planned by Le Corbusier, who kept the green belts as an integral part of the city, and it indeed gives back to nature. The city's monumental architecture is based on principles of town planning, of sun, space, and verdure. In a city like Udaipur, residents suffered from water shortages and poor sewage systems. To solve this problem, 7 lakes were constructed. This has helped create a healthier environment, maintain ecological balance, providing habitat for various species of flora and fauna. This has also enhanced the scenic views of the city, helping the city of lakes thrive on tourism. Water in European regions of the French Riviera, the canals of the Netherlands, and the water channels of Venice have all served as crucial factors guiding the urban development of the city. The waters have been used for transportation, leisure, and a tourist attraction as well. The city's urbanization is in fact around the presence of these water bodies, and they are the epicenters of growth. Green parks and urban forests are also a major factor which contributes to the well-being of the cities. In cities like New York and London, their parks like Central Park and Hyde Park serve as a refreshing space for people. It is a part of their lifestyles. As designers, we have the opportunity to change the narrative of the progressive growth. It is in our hands to make urbanization of cities as a boon to keep up with the current times and to bring about a positive change. Thank you.
Thank you, Noori. That was amazing. Thanks, Khushboo, for a lovely introduction. I'm Anam Taufiq. So I want to shed some light upon one of the very major and relevant drawbacks of urbanization that has been prevalent in the past few decades, which is the lack of diversity in architecture. Because of the cost-effective and quick solutions that rapid urban development employs, it has given rise to standardization in architecture and design. With all of this speedy city makeover that is kind of happening, spaces and buildings are sort of losing their character and uniqueness. Places and buildings are sort of blending in a more generic look. The individual quirks that made each place special is kind of missing. Traditional architectural diversity is succumbing to the dominance of high-density, homogeneous structures. Every apartment, every layout appears indistinguishable, erasing the unique charm that once defined urban spaces. This shift does not only stifles the creativity of designers, but also imposes a demand for faster, cost-effective interior solutions, limiting the scope for innovative design. For example, Mumbai has some very interesting neighborhoods. Like think about Bandra or the quaint Art Deco lanes in Chutney Road, or the beautiful Parsi homes of Colaba. When you think about these places, you are taken back to a memory or an image that you can relate these spaces to, which I feel somehow in the current scenario is getting lost. Like the uniqueness and the individuality that we're talking about is somehow missing. But when you talk about, when you say unique, or when you talk about individuality, what is it that really makes a city unique? Is it the people? Is it the culture? Yes, but at the very core of things, it is the nature of the city that really sort of defines it, right? So when you talk about nature, sorry. I'll just make one quick point. So, rapid urban development is slowly drowning out any and every hope of leveraging our cultural significance and natural resources, taking us closer to a dystopian grey world where functionality alone rules and the soul of the region are just chapters in history books. Thank you.
This is Mansi Pandey. I am from Design House. And today we are going to be talking about how we facilitate urban development with transit-oriented design. So transit-oriented design and infrastructure plays a pivotal role in shaping urban landscape and fostering sustainable development. The need for transit-oriented design is what I've actually focused on today. The rapid quality, I'm not going to like make very long statements. I've just done pointers so that it kind of gets interesting. Rapid quality and affordable public transport, active or non-motorized mode of transport such as pathways or bicycles, which make it easy to travel. The benefits of this is the reduced dependency on private vehicle, which reduces the carbon footprint of the entire area. The self-sufficient neighborhood where residents can live, work, and play, which helps in scaling cities, which we've seen all over the world in, internationally in cities like Singapore, Hong Kong, Stockholm. Provides better lifestyles overall by reducing the end-to-end private vehicular use and also encourages a lot of walking. Basically, I think TOD transit-oriented design typically translates into higher productivity. Examples in India that we have currently are the Delhi Metro, which exemplifies transport-oriented design principles by integrating transit-oriented development with its stations. It has spurred commercial and residential development around its stations, encouraged mixed use of spaces, and reducing reliance on private vehicles. The same we see with London, the Underground. We also want to talk about different examples in terms of different modes of transit-oriented examples like, oops, I'm done. Okay, thank you so much. I hope it was good.
Okay, wait.
My opponent is
wait
not
for
here
me.
yet.
Wait for me. Oh
my God, that was dramatic.
He's late as usual.
Sorry, my bus was a little late.
चल के आ जाते हैं.
नहीं, बस स्टॉप से फिर चल के आना पड़ा ना, टाइम लग गया और ट्रांजिट
Pathways
सिस्टम
is
बहुत
also
लेट
transit
था.
2 मिनट चालू हो गया है तेरा.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. It's a fine Friday afternoon and my iPad is not opening, so that's fine. But yeah, I mean, and how many of y'all really know that there is this massive bus stop right next to NSE, and how many of y'all really took it? Oh, we have 3 people who took it, and okay, I'm lying, so I didn't take it. But the point is that we have transportation or mass transportation system in our city, in our country, but somewhere down the line, we are the ones to blame because we don't use it. So the regression for urban development and the lack of urban transport is not because it's not provided to us, it's because we don't use it. I mean, in our city right now,
So are you saying, sorry, can I cut?
It's not a debate, darling.
sorry.
I am just proposing my point.
I thought it was.
There'll be someone who'll come and do the debate talks.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, I would like to say that, I mean, I won't give numbers, but okay, if we speak about internationally, Singapore being the most expensive city is also ranked as the 4th most, using public transport, whereas we are ranking somewhere down like 150th in the world right now. And that is predominantly because we don't use it. The regression is not because of what is provided to us, we don't use it. I remember I was a kid and I was to take a double-decker bus to go to school and go straight up, right up front, and I'm like, wind on my face. I don't think anyone else has done that. Sanchit, have you done that before? I love that. See, 108. And how many of your kids, not Sanchit, but how many of your kids have actually done that? But the point is that don't have
बस
time
late हो गया,
because the transportation is
Thank you,
off the
Sameer, for
track.
showing
Thank you,
up.
everyone.
Community engagement and spaces. As a designer with a human-centric approach, I believe urbanization is a potent force that not only shapes cityscapes, but also cultivates a diverse community capable of facing adversity collectively. The very essence of urban development, when approached with a focus on human well-being, fosters an environment where resilience and solidarity flourish. The concept of resilient cities is gaining traction globally. Indian cities like Chennai, Jaipur, Pune, Surat have already made it to the top 100 resilient cities in the world. A very fine example of a resilient city is Trivandrum. Post the devastating floods in Kerala, the state's capital reconstruction efforts went beyond mere infrastructure repair, focusing on community engagement and ecological resilience. This holistic approach not only strengthened the city's resilience, but its ability to withstand future challenges. It also fostered a sense of shared responsibility with all its inhabitants. The rejuvenation of Ahmedabad's historic city, the Sabarmati riverfront development, another compelling example. As designers, we need to recognize urbanization as a positive force that weaves the fabric of diverse community into a tapestry of shared resilience. The examples given above underscore the transformative power of intentional design.
That was lovely. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about how the cityscape development affects our heritage and culture. So I think when I think about this, and I'm going to get a little anecdotal about this. So the highlight, 5 or 6 highlight points are that we definitely lose out on, how our historical sites sort of are culturally, and redeveloping that, or touching that and, making it more tourist savvy sort of makes us lose the local heritage context and essentially how they were architecturally built. And why I am talking about the heritage sites, because we as a studio are writing a book on these Havelis, the forgotten Havelis of Shekhawati. And that made us want to go to one of these Havelis, and we were looking for a hotel to stay in. There weren't any. We realized one of the Havelis has been transformed into a Airbnb. We reached there, we were like, okay, these Havelis were meant to function a certain way. What about sanitization? What about the kitchen? How are they going to have the hob? So literally getting it down to those smaller details, we realized that they had edited a part of the culture, how the old kitchens worked, how the old bathrooms worked, to a point where there was an erasal of the entire past, heritage, culture of how these things worked. And now it was, amazing for the tourists to sort of use, be a part of it. But essentially speaking, there was a whole erasal of the past. So that is one example. The other point being that displacement of communities. So when we talk about a great example here would be, say, the Dharavi Chaul redevelopment. When you talk about that, there were these amazing small industries that have been displaced. Okay, cool. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shruti Dimri. I'm going to talk about the environmental impact of urban development. Has urban development progressed the environmental cause? I'm stating 4 examples here today, and I'm putting them, naming them upfront because time runs out quickly. The Sabarmati riverfront development mentioned earlier, Pune's Plantation Drive, the Sonal Mutha riverfront development, and the Hussain Sagar Lake. These are all examples of urban level intervention that has helped restore the environmental balance, which is perhaps saying that development first caused the problem and then solved it, in some cases at least. but it goes to demonstrate that sensitive approaches absolutely help the environment. The ambitious initiative at the Sabarmati riverfront, which was previously a neglected and polluted area, into a vibrant, environmentally friendly space. My favorite, the Hussain Sagar Lake, a long-standing project once facing severe pollution and encroachment issues, underwent a comprehensive restoration and beautification project. The development initiative involved cleaning the lake, preventing further pollution, and creating recreational spaces around its periphery. The transformation included the establishment of landscape gardens, pedestrian pathways, and recreational areas along the lakefront. The project not only enhanced the visual appeal of the area, but also contributed to improving ecological health of the lake and its surroundings. All of this is very, very easily found on ChatGPT, which is what I've done. Efforts to reduce pollution and revive the lake's ecosystems have resulted in a more vibrant urban environment. The point is that if you are going to go along with insensitive development of the space, you will get results, not desirable results. But we are all trained people, we are all trained architects, also, trained urban planners who are putting in empirical studies, what they have learned and what they have experimented with. Some of these are probably experiments, but the underlying effort under this, the effort to develop is to create something that will help the environment going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Shruti. I think you were more from the regressive side. I felt when I heard you, but it was nice. Okay, nowadays, I think after cricket, construction industry or our design fraternity is getting very famous because as we look out of our window and we only see our environmental issues that we are seeing. These issues, environmental challenges, need a mix of regulatory intersection and sustainable practices by the government. But also, we are not looking at other cities like eco-conscious cities like Auroville. Urban cities are just following a rapid lifestyle where everything is just running. We are not holding back thinking about waterfronts, and also our groundwater recharge. It's so important. If we will only developing around the groundwater or near the rivers and using material which will just block the landfills and not help them recharge it, it is going to create a lot of problems in future, and we might have to go back to our old way of having more sustainable materials to be used. Now, all these points are interconnected. We need to have a more holistic solutions for sustainable future. Let's talk about water resources. Preserving groundwater recharge is one of them. In the current rapid development where non-degradable landfills hinder permeability in the soil. Instance of depletion, for example, in Mumbai, like Mithi River. I know many of them during this when I was working, this was long back, they didn't knew it was a river and they considered it to be a nala. And today we are not even, it's been so many years after that incident and no one has even taken care of it. Current challenges of drying of bore wells is an everyday issue in all the buildings. Today you get down and everybody is just fighting for water, whether it is slums, whether it is modern high-rise buildings, and nobody is addressing to those issues. Why the groundwater recharge is not tackled? That's a basic necessity. And for that we have to pay money for it, call for it, and then where is this water coming from? We are exploiting more other resources for it.
Hey.
Hi.
What's up?
Good.
Like two samurai wrestlers coming to do like Konishiwa kind.
Chalo, start karo.
Hi, everybody. Hello, my fellow pessimists. So, I just want to quickly say, I'm talking about social disparity, gentrification, and happiness quotient. Gentrification is real. There are thousands, millions of people coming into the city of Mumbai every day. I would like to actually all of you all to go and ask people in Dharavi, how much do you care about a remote museum somewhere? Or would you like to go in the nature somewhere when you don't have a house to sleep in, right? So mass housing is a reality, it is required, right? So there's a recent initiative in Chennai where there are more than, it's called the Lighthouse Project, where there are more than 1,100 houses being built. And they're going to replicate the same model in 6 more states. That is the reality that we need today. The population is increasing, and there's an absolute need to give shelter to people, which is the most basic necessity. Lot of other things are happening, like say the festivities at Kala Ghoda, or similar movements happening at the Park Street redevelopment in Kolkata, which talks about equality, it talks about a democratic space, it's more inclusive, getting people together. Talking about the positive of gentrification, gentrification also reduces crime rates, improves public infrastructure. A great example would be the metro rail project, which also improved transportation, spurred growth, and also kind of, increases land value. So in conclusion, I would just say that while India may rank 126 globally for happiness, the urban landscape tells a different story. In a survey in 32 countries in March 2023, India claims 4th spot with 84% of urban population claiming happiness. So hoping that 84% of the jury here is happy and would definitely choose the positives rather than the negatives.
I think it was pretty good though. But when we talk about social inequality, the urban cityscape development, I think when we talk about social inequality, in itself is a regressive topic, right? So I'm gonna go crisp on the topic this time, okay? Social inequality refers to the unequal distribution of resources, opportunities, privileges within the society that leads to disparities in wealth, education, healthcare, and the social status. Why am I talking about these points is because it ultimately leads to the project or the point that we'll be making called the happiness quotient. So everything I know is interrelated or interlinked. But then ultimately, why are we talking about social inequality? Because there are these thoughts that come to my mind when we talk about the several ways in which it's leading to the social inequality in our society. One, of course, when you talk about the gentrification, I think the biggest example I can give is I come from Delhi, right? And South Delhi is the biggest gentrification that has happened in the past, right? The only thing that has happened is that all the development that has happened in Delhi in the past few years, majorly, of course, you can say the north, the west, the east has happened, but then central and south in itself has seen an insane growth to the access of resources, the major job opportunities going towards the Gurgaon that you see, and of course Noida. But that is predominantly south. The housing affordability factor as well as the cultural displacement, public spaces and infrastructure development. You see, the best of malls in Delhi, I'm sorry, but I'm talking from the Delhi's point of view because I feel it and I sense it. The best of malls, South Delhi. The best of roads, Central Delhi. So I think that there is that regressive aspect that comes into play. Gentrification is happening and, okay, we're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
You were good.
Right. I'm going to talk about happiness quotient, actually against it. What happiness are we talking about? Are you really happy, all of you? Waking up every day, crying about the traffic, crying about the air that you breathe, you're really not happy. Think about it. The development is causing, sadness more than happiness. According to BMG Journal and The Conversation, the risk of developing depression is 20% higher in urban dwellers than rural dwellers. The risk of developing psychosis, the risk of developing anxiety disorder is around 21% and 71% higher in urban dwellers. Critically, the longer you spend in an urban environment, the time during childhood, the higher the risk of developing mental illness in adulthood. Sad, but that's true. And how was this even concluded by an epidemiological studies? Have identified a large number of factors, and one of the factors being social inequality due to development. I would just also want to talk about what Priyank spoke about how Chennai has this mixed housing and all of that, but really I want all of you to think about it. These housing societies, where are they situated? Are they close to where the urban cities already are, or are they away from that? If they're away from that, but if they're really away from where the urban cities are, but then it's only actually a shift of the material used to construct the walls and the ceiling. right? But because the people living in the same homes are giving concrete homes. Okay, the people who are working there are still house helps, drivers, and that all remains the same. What about inclusivity? That is not covered. Number two, I would also want to talk about the events that happens in Kala Ghoda or maybe anywhere else. Trust me, and I feel people in slums and poor from background are not interested in artwork. They would not want to attend any of your cultural activities happening in Kala Ghoda or any matter for that. So why are we not talking about inclusivity? The last point I would also want to say is, if you guys are really happy with urban development, living in your 3-bedroom homes or 2-bedroom homes, why are we thinking of going to places like farms or, indulging in activities like, pottery and, bullock cart riding and all of that during the weekends? Think about it. Thank you.
So just,
Aniketh, that was great. Super.
I want to reintroduce Shilpa because of what Aniketh said. Psychotic Shilpa.
I think I'll have to go really, really fast on this because there's only a time. No, it's not started yet. Okay. So I'm going to just first quickly talk about what you said, because for me, I think development and urban development is not just limited to tier 1 cities. In India, in everywhere across the world, it's already moved down to tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. So the places that you are saying, why are you going here, why are you going there? It's for identity, it's for a soul, it's for really soul searching. I mean, we go abroad and we are always looking for these parks, or we are looking for history in Rome, but I think the same thing is here. I visited Mandu and I loved it. And not that they are only just showing you the history. There's actually live water drainage, water systems that are still working and being used by the current city today. And somebody spoke about water recharge. Tamil Nadu has actually dug up 40, there's a plan of bringing out 40 odd temple tanks, and they are going to be used for water recharge and supplying water to all the villages and little towns there. So I think there's a lot that we are doing. It's all about being positive. For me, I feel cities and urban development is about finding its soul and finding what you're really looking for. It is about identity. So wherever you go, be it Rome or be it Mandu or be it, for example, Fatehpur Sikri, you're also finding that in places like Chandni Chowk, they are being revived for its character, for its identity, so that it eventually helps the tier 2, tier 3 people that you are talking about, because it brings employment. For example, even Kala Ghoda festival, we are going there for fun, but it is bringing a lot of art and craft from all across so many Maharashtra villages, handicraft, that we actually have no idea. Eventually, people like you and me are going to go on Instagram and tag them and make them, aware that they exist. And, in spite of kind of, I would say, remove the middlemen and go directly to them. It's really up to us to do that, right? I think I'm talking a lot.
Super. Okay.
Your time starts now.
I had a lot of numbers before I came here, but I think I don't need to talk about numbers anymore because most of you guys have spoken on our behalf. So when we talk about transport, right, I'm here to give a rebuttal on transport. Who are we really designing the city for? Are we designing the city for motorists? Are we designing the city for people who use public transport, people who use bicycles? So the question is really something that we need to ask ourselves. Okay, we made rapid progress in giving metro stations to people, and the ridership has increased, but the ridership on cars has increased twofold. Gustavo, I forget his last name, sorry, said that there was a really famous quote that a developed city is a place where the rich use public transport and not where the poor use cars. But is it really happening in any Indian city in the country? Okay, somebody gave an example of Delhi, where Delhi has 250 metro stations. It's a nice thing. The highest ridership in Delhi is 65 lakh people per day, but Delhi is the automobile capital not only of India, it's the automobile capital of the world. It's got 1.22 crore people with registered vehicles, two-wheelers and four-wheelers. And really, I mean, what does a metro mean if you're talking about public transport? It's mass rapid transport, right? Where is the word rapid? if the point of you going from your house, getting stuck in a bottleneck and going to the metro station and then taking the metro and then again getting stuck in a bottleneck when you get out of the metro station really defeats the purpose. So are any of us really going to use the metro? That's something that we need to ask. Can we really walk to the metro station?
Well said.
Right. So first, I would like to really talk about the fun entry that Samir had about the transit-oriented design. And we were just looking at statistics that sort of refute his very grand, admirable entry. And he was speaking probably of us in the room, and it's a really small subset when you consider the bigger picture. So statistics really say that about, say 65% of the road transport, about 90% of them really use the buses. So it really re-emphasizes the role of having development very transport-oriented. And also when we speak about the security concerns that were minimized because of the development of public transports. So it's become a lot more safer because it's just more well-lit and these places are more manned and it's become easier for women to travel because there's a lot of public transport. So this is one thing that I would like to refute about what Samir really said. So the statistics really go against it.
From which year? The statistics from which year?
The same year that your 1.22 crore came up.
That's 2022. Which year are you talking about? So the number of people in buses has actually reduced from 2005 to 2015. Let me just get the record right because we're talking about statistics.
Buses have reduced. Buses have reduced.
Why is that?
Because it is not affordable for BST to run those buses in India, in Bombay. And now once they change from diesel run buses to electric buses, which is what their next plan is, the ridership should go up again.
By how much do you think?
I'm not going to guess those numbers. I'm not qualified enough to guess those.
It's reduced by less than half. So that's not a number that would just reduce by the diesel bus.
And what number of it has come into the trains or the metros?
Not close.
We can
not
go on
close.
this.
I have everything.
All right. So I guess we can give 30 seconds to you for because Rajiv ate up your time in case you want to claim
How do we find Rajiv?
something. That's okay.
Right. Now, also coming to the point that Rajiv spoke about, which is the number of vehicular traffic or vehicular registrations like two-wheelers and all increasing. It's also, I think, because of not having a proper development for the transport-oriented, for public transport. So I think this is why there's an increase in personal vehicular registration. And again, it re-emphasizes the point of why transit-oriented development is really, really important in order to shape our cityscape.
Thank you.
In reflecting on the trajectory of cityscape development, one cannot help but question the notion of progress. There was a time when shaping of urban spaces involved intricate dance between local people, material, and harmonious synergies. The cities told stories, the buildings echoed cultural spirits, and the architecture was a manifestation of the region's identity. The country is, seeing a very contemporary narrative right now, which is starkly different. The momentum of development has become synonymous with the generic rapid expansion. All we are left with is a homogeneous, drab skyline, which is completely devoid of any existence of any natural resources. Climate, materials, water resources, topography, nothing is taken in account to. Gone are the days when the pulse of the city resonated with its unique character. Varanasi, Udaipur, built around water. Goa with the mix of Portuguese and Indian influences, exemplifying diverse architecture. As Anam mentioned, the Parsi bungalows, nothing seems to be the same anymore. Now in the quest for efficacy and modernity, we witness the erasure of cultural imprints. Because I'm from Delhi, I'll quote two lines of something that I read very recently. Kahan gayi mere galib ki dilli? Ye mere galib ki dilli nahi. Ye ऊंची इमारतें जो ना धूप बराबर दे ना छाव, ये मेरे गालिब की दिल्ली नहीं. जहां मॉल में सांस आती है पर नदी किनारे बास आती है, ये मेरे गालिब की दिल्ली नहीं. Last but not the least, progress in our notion should always be in account with everybody that we have around us. In reassessing our notion of progress, we must grapple with the paradox that in pursuit of development, we are actually strongly regressing. Thank you.
Shruti, your time starts now.
Hi. Transit-oriented development can achieve a range of objectives as an enabler to increase viability of public transport projects, as a revitalizing tool to transform urban core areas through redevelopment, retrofitting, and locating land uses to create lively, sustainable places. Mumbai has always had exemplary infrastructure. Its origins dating back to the pre-independence started by the British. The local train network, the other popular BST, serving as a regular commune daily. While these civic services have lasted daily for more than a century, they are clearly inadequate for a business city like Mumbai. The commute between north, south, east, and west seems to take longer with each passing decade as the city spreads. Presently, with the high transit demand in cities, people are facing congestion and increased traffic. These have been eased by the infrastructure projects, and as the city grows, we have to better the connectivity efficiently to promote urban and industrial development. This will shorten commute times for its residents while ensuring world-class facilities. It will also have a significant impact on Mumbai or any city's real estate market in the coming decades. While it may further enhance the valuation of the city's commercial hub, suburbs and micro markets will also see higher valuation, triggering a more even expansion and development of the city. We do have to strike a fine balance between destruction and development, but adequate infrastructure is a fundamental precondition to transport systems.
Perfectly timed.
And okay, so we have last but not the least, we have Nishita Kamdar up to make our closing statement.
And for our closing statement, Prashant 09,
All right,
celebrating
let's go.
life, Chauhan.
Let's go, and Nishita, your time starts now.
Okay, everyone. So, past glory has to give way to the needs of the present. Otherwise, the inconvenience and inefficiency caused by what once served its certain purpose will lead to resentment, and in the process, the important values that the old building and the old architecture holds will be forgotten. We are all in agreement with that. We protect our heritage because we cherish the values it represents. Then why do we always look at erasal of what we cherish as part of what is being developed? Why is the solution to the Bombay High Court not to redevelop it and not to restore it, but to shift everybody to a whole new modern building? You completely lose the entire essence and the beauty of the heritage building itself. Why do we look at complete erasal of the Rashtrapati Bhavan gardens and replace it with like one whole modern structure instead of using the landscape more effectively to give you a better solution to this? Where are our squares? Where are our plazas? Where are all these places where communities came together? We are looking at a complete erasal of every single thing that we decided to do as a kind of culturally rich tradition and kind of country. There are no places for us to just be together and to celebrate the spaces that are given to us. So I think this is about trying to bring it back and at least fighting to bring it back. So yes, urban design is regressive when it doesn't include communities. It is regressive when it doesn't include sensitivity. It is regressive when it is only looked at renaming structures and roads only to evoke a sense of patriotism. It is regressive when you don't hire professionals to plan it correctly and involve only industrialists and politicians who look at it as a vote bank.
Thank you, Nishita.
Very well put, Nishita. So
Time starts now.
I express my gratitude to all of you who have brought in these valid points, and they are absolutely well noted and really deeply appreciated. But in a world where we are divided by the labels of progressive and regressive, deep down inside, it's very heartening to recognize the common ground and agreement that a mindful development is the path we collectively aspire to tread. Despite the apparent divisions in our debates, there exists a shared understanding that transcends ideological differences. We may stand on the opposite sides during the discussion, but beneath the surface, there is a unity of purpose. A unity grounded in the shared intent of a brighter tomorrow, a more sustainable future, and an enhanced quality of life for all. Our differences, rather than driving us apart, serve as catalyst for constructive dialogue and evolution of our perspectives. So as we navigate the realms of debate, let's keep in mind this shared intent, an intent that unites us in the pursuit of a better world. Together, let's channel our energies towards crafting solutions that harmonize progress and mindfulness, fostering a future that reflects the collective aspirations of all. And hopefully we find those olives and make this a better world for all of us. So thank you, Decode, and thank you for having this debate.
Thank you for finishing before time. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the progressive and the regressive team. Now, for the black olives. Thank you, Prashant. So now, can we have the lights on, please? All right. Now I give the finding, the intriguing eye of the black olives to the audience, and we are going to give you about 30 seconds, and I want to hear the decibel sound of your voice to understand which team would be the winner. Before I do that, India has been looked upon as the superpower, right? And we as a design fraternity can find a lot of scope as the end user as well to, okay, that's the alarm.
That's your 2-minute alarm.
All right, but I can take the liberty. And instead of, and it's going to be very progressive because we are heading towards a superpower. And instead of regressive, which Khushboo said, is there a word like that? We should look for scope of development. How about that? And if you feel there's a scope for development or we're progressing enough, I want to hear the audience at the count of 3 to decide who the winner is. Okay? Now, Team A, the progressive team. Okay. Team B, let's hear it for Team B. All right. Now, I would say that heading towards a superpower needs to be looked upon to the scope of development, and the regressive team is the winner. All right, I want to thank each one of you, and especially the captains. Can I have the captains, please, for working so hard on this debate. They have worked very, very hard, and I want to thank each one of you for really taking this so seriously. My God, in the morning, it felt like we are going for an exam, right? And I want to thank...
My daughter went for an exam this morning. And I was like, are you going or am I going?
With all the printouts and everything. And I want to thank the platform of Decode. I want to thank GoodHomes, Trends, Neerja, Ronita, and Avril for this amazing, amazing platform and for giving us the opportunity to find our black olives. Good luck to all of you. Thank you.
Thanks everybody. And a special thanks to the 18 of us, other than us, who made this happen. I think we spent a good amount of time. I think we had a good time, and we got to know a lot more people than we started off with.